Ready? Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the work session. Sharon, the mayor will not be joining us today.
He won't be.
He will not for the work session, so if you could kick the meeting off, that'd be great.
Okay, terrific. Well, welcome to the Waterloo City Council work session. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bozen?
Here.
Mr. Amos?
Here.
Mr. Morrissey?
Here.
Mrs. Klein? Oh, I don't see her out there. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Foyce?
Here.
Mr. Greider?
Here.
And Mrs. Juon?
Here. Okay, motion to approve the agenda as proposed.
What? Okay. Mrs. Klein is here.
Oh, okay, good.
There we go.
Hi, Margaret. Hi, can you hear me? I can.
Motion to approve the agenda as proposed. Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our agenda is to discuss the Title I revision project, and that discussion will be led by our own Kelly Felchey, City Clerk. So
All right.
Kelly, over to you.
All right. I wanted to get this discussion back in front of council. Back in January, we voted to table discussion until April. So it's now April, so I wanted to have a quick chat with you all about the Title I project. Between January and April, I did give council members a flash drive full of different types of documents that have been reviewed both before the task forces started looking at Title I, and then also documents that are reviewed by a couple different task forces that both worked on different aspects of the Title I project. Those documents are also available in the city's document center on the city website. But at this point, now that we're all working remotely, I guess my recommendation would be to table the project again until all the council can be in person to have the discussion. I think it'll be a little bit easier to facilitate discussion with everybody together in person. It can be a little hard to hear sometimes on my end, and trying to keep track of everything, I think it would work a little bit better if we were doing this in person. But thoughts from the council?
Thoughts from anyone?
I would, sorry, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I would table it. I would support tabling it for 4 months. And the only reason that I put a time frame on it is because we just don't know how long this type of stuff will be continuing to happen based on what I'm reading from scientists and doctors. So I would say 4 months, and then that gives us time to reevaluate. And then if at 4 months we have to postpone again, I'm perfectly fine with that. But I don't know what normal will look like for a while. I don't think any of us do. So I would just a time frame, 4 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever people are comfortable with.
Yeah, the other option, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine, I was done.
The other thing I was thinking too is either we table it for a specified amount of time, or we table it for, sorry about that. Table it up until the point we can all get back together. Because like, as you mentioned, Mr. Greider, we don't know if it'll be 2 months, 5 months, 6 months, etc.
Kelly?
From other council?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Morrissey.
Yeah, my thoughts on it are that it needs to be postponed until such time as we all are sitting in a room together. Now, we hope it's not in some kind of rubber room, but, if it is, it is, what the heck. But the difficulty in communication with this kind of system makes it untenable, I think, to move, or to do anything with it. And I would suggest along the lines that you just brought up, Kelly, that as soon as we can, not put a specific date on it, just the idea that as soon as the council can all get together safely in the chambers, that we look at that as a date to do another work session like this. That would be my idea, Kelly.
Okay.
Okay, other thoughts?
Madam Chairperson,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you were recognizing myself for Councilman Bolson, but one of the questions that I had, Kelly, if I remember correctly, there were several different items that Councilman Morrissey wanted to talk about or had issue with from a standpoint of being able to make some changes. Is that something that you and him would be able to sit down and talk about, or is that something that we all need to be present for?
Mr. Morrissey and I did have an opportunity to discuss, and he did give me changes that he had, or that he had concerns with. So I have typed those up and returned those back to him. I think once we get a little bit closer to possibly meeting, I can get those out to the council. I can send them out now too, but I wanted a chance to talk with Mr. Morrissey a little bit more about those and get some feedback.
Yeah, that's fine. I remember there being some things, and for the sake of time, if there are things that, he has that could be implemented or not implemented prior to, that might be helpful.
Yep, I agree.
Mr. Boson, did you have a comment?
Yes, I did. Would it be possible, Kelly, to get some updated information too? Because when I went through that last drive, a lot of the stuff is from 2018, 2019, and even the department flow charts have changed so much since those times that it's been put into this the document. Is that something the departments could work on before we come back, so that we haven't? I mean, we've made so many changes with structuring different departments that I don't think those flow charts, organizational charts, reflect the true organization of these departments.
Yeah, that's correct. Those flow charts wouldn't necessarily be reflective of how departments are structured now. And that's because they were structured in that way at the time the task force was meeting. So since
Right.
then, the city structure has changed. And I believe there is one flow chart within the files that shows kind of how the departments are divided up now, with the high-level overview of how they're divided up.
Okay, I'll look again.
Okay, and I can resend out updated flow charts too that reflect what's going on presently.
Thank you.
Okay, as to when we would reschedule this, are there other times, what's the sense of the council?
Madam Chair, I think, I think postponing it, until we can all get together again, I think seems to be from what I'm hearing, the consensus. And I think that would probably behoove us to make sure we're doing the right thing, as we know it's already taken several months, and it will probably last another 20 years before it gets changed again. We want to make sure that it's taken care of the correct way. So I'm in favor of postponing it again until we can meet.
Any other thoughts?
Madam Chair, I agree with everyone.
But everyone, they had opinions.
Well, I agree that it needs to be postponed. I don't care if there's a finite date. I think as soon as we can reassemble as a body of the whole would be fine.
Would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
I move that
Madam
we
Chair.
postpone this until we meet again as a body of the whole in each other's presence.
Is there a second for that?
Second.
Further discussion? If not, the
Just so,
motion,
Madam Chair,
yes.
just so we're certain that what we're voting on has to do only with the Title I revision. That's what we're referring to.
Versus what, Mr. Morrissey?
Versus anything else.
Oh, that's the topic of
We're agreeing to meet at a future date when we can all get together on matters relative to Title I.
Yes, I think
It's a
that,
friendly amendment to Councilperson Klein's, motion.
Second.
okay. So the motion is to discuss the Title I revision project again after we, as a council, can all convene in person in the council chambers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, everyone.
I'm sorry.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. It's 5:10. Kelly, do you agree?
I agree.
Terrific. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the Waterloo City Council Finance Committee. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morrissey,
Here.
Mrs. Klein,
Here.
Mrs. Juon.
Here. Can I have a motion for the agenda and minutes, please?
So moved.
Through the agenda and minutes of April 6th, 2020, as proposed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Before we get to the travel request, has somebody got some noise in the background? Can you hit mute, please, if you've got that situation going on, please? But
There's no one here.
I'm sorry, what? Is somebody talking?
No, they're saying there's no one here but me in this room.
Oh, well, then it's not you. Okay. Before we get into travel requests, I'd just like to make the announcement, if you would, that since our last meeting and at the last work session meeting, we talked about changes to the structure and content of the work product for the Finance Committee. Since that time, I've had a chance to talk to Michelle Wiedner, and at that time, at the work session, we said that we would discuss it in more detail as part of the Finance Committee meeting. And talking to Kelly, we've decided to put it on the agenda for the next meeting. And so We will talk about it at our next Finance Committee meeting, but I would encourage all other council members to either participate in that meeting or let myself or any of the committee members know in advance if you have some thoughts, because I'd like everyone's input if possible, but we will discuss it at our next Finance Committee. Any questions on that? Okay, then I would like to have a motion for, oh my goodness, just for the travel request, I suppose.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes.
I'd like a motion to approve the travel request for Lieutenant Duncan in the Waterloo Police Department Investigations Division. The class meeting is PATC Tech Digital Forensic Webinar, Destination Waterloo, Iowa, date April 20th through the 24th of 2020, amount not to exceed $349.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Would someone take the pre-authorizations, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following pre-authorizations expending over $1,000. First is the airport. This amount of estimated shipping handling, $25,000 for various marketing programs, including radio, newsprint, etc., to promote the airport and the airline. Next is the convention center, amount of estimated shipping handling, $12,313.80 plus $317 shipping and handling for various banquet table service items. Next is convention center, amount of estimated shipping and handling, $18,167.09 plus $538.35 shipping and handling for glassware and storage racks. Next is the convention center, it's amount of estimated shipping and handling, $23,248 plus $1,350 shipping and handling for metal swirl rolling buffet tables and cocktail tables. Next is convention center again, for amount of estimated shipping and handling, $44,752.68 plus $1,331.67 shipping and handling for buffet serviceware. Next is the MIS department with the amount of estimated shipping and handling, $1,844.84 for the Adobe Creative Cloud licensing renewal. Next is the police department with the amount of estimated shipping and handling, $1,816.96 plus $250 shipping and handling for the panel-based conference table for the police department. Next is the sewer department with the amount of estimated shipping and handling, $18,921 for one Strike Force TPC2K tamper plate and one Strike Force SFB 1500 breaker for the 2020 backhoe. Next is the street department with the amount of estimated shipping and handling, $24,070 for 10 complete pre-wet system and includes tanks and pumps for snow trucks. Next is the street department with the amount of estimated shipping and handling, $11,457 for one 10-foot dump box for snow truck number 193B03. Next is street department with the amount of estimated shipping and handling of $11,457 for one 10-foot dump box for snow truck number 193B04. Next is the street department again for another amount of estimated shipping and handling of $11,457 for one more 10-foot dump box for snow truck 193B09. Next is the street department with amount of estimated shipping and handling, $24,145 for one stainless steel V-body spreader with dual auger for tandem truck number 191001. Next is street department, amount of estimated shipping and handling, $24,145 for one stainless steel V-body spreader with dual auger for tandem truck 191104. And next is the street department, amount of estimated shipping and handling, $1,080 for one 5100 EX with cables to David 5100. Next is Traffic Department with the amount necessary shipping and handling not to exceed $7,500 for 400 bags of reflectorizing spheres or glass beads to be used in annual painting or striping project. And finally is Traffic Department with the amount necessary shipping and handling of $3,332.25 for film sheeting and transfer tape.
Second.
Discussion? I'd like to, question, is Mr. Caspari there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I question in this time, why we're spending $25,000 on marketing when nobody's flying. Is this be used right away or a future date, or tell me a little more about it, please.
Without question, I appreciate the question very much. This request is coming to the Finance Committee with consultation from our Chief Financial Officer. And what we're doing is in essence, we're doing a pre-buy of media services so that when the public does decide to get flying again, that we're going to hit it hard and we're going to hit it pretty heavily to make sure that we, I'll say, saturate the radio waves and social media services and everything else so that we can be one of the first to actually, I think, get our name recognition out there and to encourage more people to fly for the second half of this calendar year, simply due to the fact that they're talking about a rebound or recovery of the airline industry to begin on or around July 1st. So since these funds are grant funds that I have to spend by the end of our fiscal year 2020 and the state of Iowa's fiscal year 2020, that's why we're doing this now.
Okay, so these are grant funds?
That is correct. We're doing, when we accepted the grant late last fall, we've got about 6 months in essence to expend the dollars. So I reached out to Michelle. We talked about it. Historically, we don't like doing this because we're spending fiscal year's dollars from one fiscal year and receiving the services or the benefits in another fiscal year. I'm hopeful that when she comes to another audit, that the auditor will understand our unique situation that we're in for this fiscal year. So we're trying to spend down our grant funds for both our match and state of Iowa.
And the grant funds do have to be expended by July 1st, correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay, and we'd be by service putting a hold on the ads, but not using them until as everyone's able to start flying.
That's correct. I've also got another request that will come to the Finance Committee, not as much, but I think this one will be $19,650 on or about the first Monday in June.
In the same
That will be, this specific request today is for phase 2. The one in June will be considered phase 3.
Other questions?
Yeah, Mrs. Juon, this is Michelle Wiedner, and I do have some questions because I'm confused now. The pre-auth said this is not the grant. This is just us paying it out of the airport budget. And I did not understand that we're going to prepay it. So I guess I didn't follow our conversation very well the other day.
Oh, that was my intent all along, Michelle, for phase 2 and 3.
Okay, so both of them are grant. Both of them will not be used until July 1. Both of them need to be spent this year.
I don't believe we should fund them this year if we're not going to spend them this year.
Well, then I have to return the unspent grant funds.
But
and
these aren't
that would be difficult for me to do.
Keith, so is the pre-auth wrong? Are some of these being paid by the grant funds? Because it says they're not. That's why
I'm sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
That's what I'm confused about. Maybe I'm just not understanding what we're doing. Because I don't typically, even if you get that, well, can we talk about this offline? Can we table this 1 week and discuss it further?
Is that okay with you?
I guess that's the pleasure of the board or the council.
Well, it seems to be a disagreement whether these are grant funds.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Morrissey?
I'm interrupting somebody, I guess.
Madam Chair,
Mr.
you're
Mr.
cutting
Morgan?
out take time, Sharon. What?
Out?
You're cutting out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Sharon, this is
I'm looking-
Kelly. This is Kelly. You are cutting out quite a bit right now, but I think Mr. Morrissey is attempting to be recognized to have the floor.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'd just like to make a motion to postpone, item number 2, airport, mountain estimated shipping handling, 25,000 for various marketing programs until next week.
Is there a second to that?
Second up.
Okay, any further discussion? Because you know why we're delaying it for a week?
I'm sorry, Sharon, go ahead. Your question again?
Do you understand why we're delaying it for the week?
I guess, whatever is the pleasure of the council, of the committee.
Okay, if you and Weidner can get this resolved before next week, that would be helpful.
Okay,
Okay?
very good.
Okay, we
Hey,
have
Madam
a
Chair.
motion. Yes, sir.
That was basically just an amendment to the, prior motion that was seconded for, number 2 through 18, and it just took number 2 off and postponed it till next week.
But that is an amendment, however, so we can vote on the amendment.
Yeah, we just
Yes, we
did.
need to vote on the amendment first, and then we can go back and vote on the remaining items that are left there. So if we could have a vote on the amendment, please.
We have an amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Opposed? Okay, now on to the original motion. As amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
all right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'm gonna try to take other committee business and bills payment. Am I still cutting out so
Yeah.
bad?
Do you want me to read it, Sharon, or would somebody else like to read it? Because you are cutting out pretty frequently.
Yeah, go ahead and if you would, Klein, would you read number 19, number 20?
Certainly. Number 19 is a refund request in the amount of $413 for garbage collection fees billed in error on a property located at 1723 Robin Road. And number 20 is bills payment in the amount of $2,927,950.65.
Second.
All in favor of the other committee business and the bills payment, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? We are adjourned, and I will get off of this call and call back and see if I have a better connection. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.